Tonight we go back to the very beginning, back to Kanto, the first region. It is the place where almost every journey starts. A bright and gentle land of small towns and green roots. Most trainers pass through it quickly, young and eager, hurrying toward the next thing. They never stop to look closely. But Kanto is older and deeper than it seems. Beneath the familiar land, there are quiet truths, old mysteries, soft secrets. Tonight we will go looking for them, slowly, town by town. There is no need to remember any of it. Just let the old first region unfold around you as you drift. So settle in, get warm and comfortable. Let your eyes close if they wish to. And if you like drifting off to gentle lore like this, you can quietly subscribe so the next long night finds its way to you. That is all I will ask. Now let us begin where every journey begins, in a very small and very quiet town. The hidden truth of Pallet Town. Pallet Town is tiny. It has only a few houses. There are no big buildings. There are no shops or gyms. There is only a small cluster of homes, a quiet lab, and the wide green fields around it, rolling gently down to the sea. Many trainers, looking back, remember it as almost nothing at all, just the little place they left behind. But here is the quiet truth of Pallet Town. Nearly every great trainer in the region began there. It is a small town that has sent out heroes. The greatest journeys of Kanto did not begin in the great cities. They began here, on this quiet edge of the map, in a town so small it is easy to miss. There is something gentle and true in that. Great things often begin in small, quiet places. A whole legend can start from a little house by the sea. The town looks out over the water, to the south, and the old feeling of the place is one of setting out, of standing at the edge of the known world, young and unsure, and taking the first step into everything that comes after. Every trainer who ever left Pallet Town felt it. That mix of fear and wonder, standing at the edge of home, about to go. Hold that feeling softly. It is the feeling of a beginning. And tonight, gently, we are beginning too. The hidden truth of the 3 starters. In Pallet Town there is a lab. It belongs to a kind old researcher named Professor Oak. He is one of the most respected Pokémon researchers in all the world. And it is Professor Oak who gives new trainers their very first Pokémon, their starter, the partner they will begin their whole journey with. There are 3 to choose from. There is Bulbasaur, a gentle green creature with a plant bulb on its back. There is Charmander, a small orange lizard with a flame burning at the tip of its tail. And there is Squirtle, a little blue turtle that hides in its shell. Every new trainer must choose just one of the 3. It is the first real choice of the whole journey, and it is a choice that shapes everything that follows. Here is the quiet truth of the 3 starters. These Pokémon are rare. You do not find them in the wild grass of Kanto. You cannot simply catch a Bulbasaur or a Charmander or a Squirtle out on the routes. They are special, raised with care, and given only by the professor, only to new trainers, only at the very start. So the partner you begin with is a gift, a rare and deliberate gift, chosen for you, or by you, at the door of the whole adventure. And the bond that grows between a trainer and that first partner is often the deepest bond of their whole life. They grow up together, they face everything together. The little starter from Pallet Town becomes, in time, a mighty and beloved friend. It began as a gift, it becomes family. That is the truth of the 3 starters. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one small chosen friend, the hidden truth of Viridian Forest. North of Pallet Town lies Viridian City, and past it, the first great woods. They are called Viridian Forest, and nearly every young trainer must walk through them. The forest is dim and green and cool. Tall trees close over the path. The light falls soft and dappled, and it is easy to get lost among the winding trails. The forest is full of small, quiet Pokémon. There is Caterpie, a small green caterpillar that will one day become a butterfly. There is Weedle, a little bug with a small sting. There are Pidgey, gentle brown birds that flit among the branches. And, if you are lucky and patient, there is a rare one, Pikachu, the small yellow mouse Pokémon with cheeks full of electricity. In the old days, Viridian Forest was one of the few places in all of Kanto where a wild Pikachu could be found. So the forest holds a small treasure, hidden among the common bugs and birds. Here is the gentle truth of Viridian Forest. It is a kind of threshold. It is the first real wilderness a young trainer ever enters. Before the forest, there is only the safe green route from home. But inside the forest, the world grows wild. The path grows uncertain. And the trainer must learn for the first time to find their own way through. Many a trainer has wandered those green trails longer than they meant to, turned around among the trees, learning patience, learning care. The forest teaches them. It is the first teacher of the road. And when they come out the far side, into the light, they are a little older and a little wiser and ready for what comes next. The forest is a doorway. You go in a beginner. You come out a traveller. The hidden truth of Pewter City and the stones. Beyond the forest lies Pewter City. It is a quiet city of grey stone, built among rocky hills, and its whole character is bound up with rock and stone and the deep past. The first gym of Kanto is here, and it is a rock gym led by a steady young leader named Brock, who trains Pokémon of stone. But the true wonder of Pewter City is its museum. For Pewter City holds a museum of science, and within it are kept the bones and fossils of Pokémon that lived long, long ago. Ancient creatures, turned to stone over uncounted ages, dug up from the deep rock. In the museum you can see the remains of Pokémon no living eye has ever seen alive. It is a quiet, echoing place, full of old stone bones, keeping the memory of a world that vanished before history began. Here is the hidden truth of Pewter City. It is a place where the deep past touches the present. Kanto is not a young land. Long before the towns, long before the trainers, long before people at all, other Pokémon walked this land. Great and strange ones, now turned to stone. And Pewter City keeps their memory. It reminds every young trainer who passes through that the world is far older than they are, that they are walking on ground that holds ages of forgotten life. It is a humbling and gentle thought. The bright new journey begins in a city that remembers the ancient dead. The old bones rest quietly in the museum, and the young trainer walks on, carrying, without quite knowing it, a little of that long memory, the hidden truth of Maint Moon. Between Pewter City and the next town rises a mountain. It is called Maint Moon, and it is one of the most quietly magical places in all of Kanto. The trainer must pass through its caves, up and down through the dark, to reach the other side, and in those caves, strange and lovely things are found. Maint Moon is famous for one thing above all. Meteors fall there. Pieces of stone from beyond the sky come down upon that mountain, and have for ages, and among the caves are found strange stones, called moonstones, said to be pieces of these fallen meteors. They hold a quiet power. When certain Pokémon touch a moonstone, they change and grow into new forms, so the fallen sky, in a way, still shapes the creatures of the mountain, and there is a Pokémon that loves this place above all others. Clefairy. A small, pink, shy creature, gentle and rare. The old stories say that on clear nights, when the moon is full, the Clefairy gather deep in the mountain. They come out into hidden clearings, around the fallen stones, and they dance together in the moonlight, ring upon ring of small pink creatures, dancing slowly in the dark, until the dawn sends them back into hiding. The games tell this softly, as legend, and never quite confirm it. But the tale has followed Clefairy for as long as anyone can remember. Some even say, in the oldest tellings, that Clefairy first came to the world riding down on a meteor from the moon itself, long ago. Whether that is true, no one can say, but it is a lovely thought. Here is the hidden truth of Maint Moon. The sky and the mountain are connected. Pieces of the heavens fall there, and shape the life below. It is a place where the far and the near touch, where a stone from beyond the world can change a living creature, where small pink Pokémon may dance by moonlight around fallen stars. Most trainers hurry through the dark caves, eager for the other side. They never know what quiet wonders sleep in the deep of the mountain. But now, Gently you do. Somewhere in Mate, moon tonight, if the moon is full, small pink creatures may be dancing in the dark around a piece of fallen sky, the hidden truth of Cerulean City and the cave. On the far side of Mate Moon lies Cerulean City. It is a bright city built beside clear blue water, with a gentle river running through it. Its gym is a water gym, led by a cheerful young leader named Misty. It is a pretty, peaceful place. Children swim in the summer. The water is clear and cool, but just north of the city, hidden away, there is a cave. And that cave holds one of the deepest secrets in all of Kanto. It is called Cerulean Cave, and for a long time it was sealed. No one was allowed to enter. It was closed off, watched, kept shut, because something was inside it, something powerful and dangerous and not fully understood. Only the very strongest trainers, who had already become champion, were ever permitted to go in. And deep within that cave, in the dark, at the very bottom, dwells one of the most powerful Pokémon in the entire world. Its name is Mewtwo. We will come back to Mewtwo later, and to the strange and sorrowful story of how it came to be. For now, it is enough to know this. In a quiet cave just outside a pretty and peaceful city, there sleeps a made and mighty creature. The children swimming in Cerulean's clear water do not know it is there. The city goes about its gentle life, and all the while, hidden in the dark just to the north, the most powerful Pokémon in the region waits alone, in a cave sealed against the world. That is the hidden truth of Cerulean City. The brightest water hides the deepest dark, and the peaceful city keeps, unknowing, a mighty and lonely secret just beyond its edge. The hidden truth of Vermilion City and the great ship. South of the middle of Kanto lies Vermilion City, a busy port on the southern sea. It is a city of harbours and docks and salt air, where ships come and go, and the great trade of the region flows in and out. Its gym is an electric gym, led by a tough leader named Let Surge, and its harbour once held a famous sight. A great ship called the SS Anne would come to Vermilion City. It was a luxury cruise liner, vast and beautiful, and once a year it would dock in the harbour, full of wealthy travellers and trainers from far and wide. For a short while the ship would sit in port, glittering and grand, a floating city of its own, and then it would sail away again, out across the sea, and be gone until the next year. Here is the gentle truth of Vermilion City and the great ship. It is Kanto's window on the wider world. Kanto can feel, to a young trainer, like the whole of everything. But at Vermilion's docks, the wider world comes in. Ships arrive from distant places. Travellers speak of far lands. The great liner brings people who have seen oceans the young trainer has never crossed. It is a reminder that Kanto is only one region among many, that beyond the southern sea there are other lands, other regions, other stories, all going on at once. The young trainer, standing on the busy dock, watching the great ship, feels for a moment how large the world truly is. And then the ship sails, out past the harbour mouth, toward places with names they have never heard. That is the truth of Vermilion. It is a door to the sea, and the sea leads everywhere. The hidden truth of the 3 legendary birds. Hidden in the far corners of Kanto, in 3 lonely places, there dwell 3 great and rare Pokémon. They are the legendary birds, and most trainers never see them at all. They keep to the wild edges of the region, far from the towns, in places cold and high and hard to reach. But they are there, 3 guardians of the wild, one for the ice, one for the lightning, and one for the fire. The first is Articuno. It is a great bird of ice, pale blue, with long streaming tail feathers like ribbons of frost. It dwells in the Seafoam Islands, far to the south, in the cold sea caves where the waves crash and the air is chill. Deep in those frozen caverns, in the quiet and the cold, Articuno waits, alone. It is said that a glimpse of it brings the first frost of winter. It is beautiful and lonely and very rarely seen. The second is Zapdos. It is a great bird of lightning, bright yellow, jagged and crackling with power. It dwells in an abandoned place, a ruined power plant, empty and quiet, where old machines sit silent and still. There, among the dead wires and the dust, Zapdos roosts, drawing power from the storms. When it stirs, the old machines wake and spark. It is a creature of the storm, living in the bones of a place people left behind. The third is Moltres. It is a great bird of fire, orange and gold, trailing flame from its wings. It dwells in a far and fiery place, deep in the heat of the mountains, near the burning heart of the land. It is said that where Moltres passes, the cold retreats, and an early spring comes to frozen places. It is rarely seen, hidden in fire and smoke, glimpsed only as a streak of flame across a distant sky. Here is the hidden truth of the legendary birds. Kanto has a wild heart. For all its towns and roads and busy cities, the region still holds 3 great and untamed powers, one in the ice, one in the storm, one in the fire, living far out at the wild edges where people rarely go. They are older and freer than any gym or city. They answer to no trainer. They keep their lonely posts in the cold and the storm and the flame. And they remind us that Kanto, however settled it seems, is still, at its edges, a wild land. There is more to the first region than its friendly towns. Out past the maps, 3 great birds keep watch over the wildness that was there long before the roads. The hidden truth of the abandoned power plant. Let us stay a moment with that quiet, ruined place where Zapdos roosts. For the abandoned power plant is a hidden truth all its own, and a gently haunting one. Once, the power plant hummed with life. It made electricity for the region. Its machines turned and glowed. People worked there. But something happened long ago, and the plant was abandoned. The people left. The machines fell silent, and the whole place was given over to dust and quiet and the slow creep of time. Now it sits empty, on the edge of the region, its doors open, its halls still, but it is not truly empty. For electric Pokémon have moved in. Among the dead machines there now live Voltorb and Electrode, round Pokémon that look almost exactly like Pokeballs, humming with stored electricity. There are Magnemite, small floating magnets, drifting through the silent halls. And roosting somewhere in the heart of it all is Zapdos, the great storm bird, drawn to the old electric bones of the place. The plant that people abandoned has become a home for the creatures of lightning. Life came back to it in a new form once the people had gone. Here is the gentle truth of the abandoned power plant. Nothing stays empty for long. People built the plant and used it and left it, but the world did not leave it. The wild came back in. The electric Pokémon found the quiet halls and made them home. And now the ruined place hums again, faintly, with a different kind of life. There is something peaceful in that. A place people gave up on was not lost. It simply became something else. The machines are silent, but the halls are not dead. They belong to the Pokémon now. And somewhere in the still heart of that quiet ruin, a great bird of lightning sleeps among the dust, keeping the old power alive in its own wild way. The hidden truth of Lavender Town. Now we come to the most tender place in all of Kanto. It is a small, quiet town in the east of the region. Its name is Lavender Town, and it is a place of remembrance. For in Lavender Town there stands a tall building called the Pokémon Tower, and the Pokémon Tower is a resting place. It is where the people of Kanto lay their departed Pokémon to rest. When a beloved Pokémon reaches the end of its life, its trainer brings it here, to the tower, and lays it gently to rest, and comes to visit, and to remember, and to grieve. Floor upon floor the tower holds the memory of Pokémon who have passed on, and the love of the people who still miss them. It is a solemn place, and a sad one, but it is not a frightening one, not truly when you understand it. It is a place of love. Every resting Pokémon in that tower was someone's dear friend. Every grave is a sign that a bond was real, and mattered, and is missed. People come to the tower to lay flowers, and to sit quietly, and to remember the friends they have lost. The whole town is wrapped in that gentle, mournful quiet. It is the quiet of a place where love and loss live close together. There is an old and gentle soul who watches over the tower. His name is Mr. Fuji. He is a kind old man who has given his life to caring for the departed Pokémon, and for the grieving, and for the lost. He tends the tower. He comforts those who mourn. He watches over the Pokémon who have no one else to remember them. And there is a special tenderness in his care for the young Pokémon called Cubone. For Cubone is the loneliest of all Pokémon. The old stories say that a Cubone wears upon its head the skull of its own departed mother. It grieves for her always. On nights when the moon is full, it is said, a Cubone will look up at the moon and see the shape of its lost mother's face in it, and cry out in sorrow. It is one of the saddest and gentlest tales in all the region. A small creature, carrying the memory of its mother with it always, mourning under the moon. And in Lavender Town, among all that quiet grief, such a small mourning creature is cared for and comforted and not left alone. The old tales of the tower speak of a mother's love that endured beyond the end. They tell of a Marowak, the grown form of Cubone, who loved and protected her child with all her strength, even to the very end. And the love of that mother is remembered in the tower still, a spirit of devotion that would not let go, watching over her little one even beyond parting. It is told softly, and it is very sad, but at its heart, it is not a tale of fear. It is a tale of love a love so strong it outlasted everything. That is the truest thing in Lavender Town. Here is the hidden truth of Lavender Town, and it is the tenderest truth in all of Kanto. Love does not end when a life ends. The bond between a person and a Pokémon, or between a mother and her child, does not simply vanish. It endures. It is remembered. It is honored. That is what the whole town is for. It is a place built entirely around the truth that the ones we love and lose are worth remembering, worth grieving, worth honoring with a quiet tower and fresh flowers and a kind old man who never lets them be forgotten. There is deep sadness in Lavender Town, but there is deeper love, and if you listen past the sorrow, the town is not really saying that things end. It is saying that love remains. That is a gentle and a healing thing to hold, even here, especially here, as you drift towards sleep. Nothing truly loved is ever truly lost. It is only for a while remembered, and waited for, and missed. And that missing is just love, still going on, the hidden truth of the great cities and the mind. In the heart of Kanto lie its two great cities. They are larger and grander than anywhere else in the region, and each holds a quiet truth of its own. The first is Celadon City. It is the largest and most beautiful city in Kanto, a place of gardens and shops and bright lights. Its gym is a grass gym full of flowers and greenery, led by gentle leaders who love growing things. Celadon is a city of comfort and plenty. It has a great department store, taller than any building around it, where almost anything can be bought. It has fountains and gardens and quiet corners. It is the closest thing Kanto has to a true metropolis, a city where a trainer can rest and be comfortable and forget the wildness of the road for a while. The second is Saffron City. It sits at the very center of the region where all the roads meet, and Saffron is a city of the mind. Its gym is a psychic gym, led by a powerful young leader named Sabrina, who commands Pokémon of pure mental power and is said to possess strange psychic gifts of her own. In Saffron, trainers face Pokémon that can move objects with a thought, that can bend the mind, that can see what is hidden. There is a fighting dojo in the city too, and long ago, the old tales say, the psychics and the fighters of Saffron were rivals, each claiming to be the true masters of the city. And in Saffron stands a great tower of glass and steel, the headquarters of a mighty company called Sylph Co. It is the largest company in the region. It makes the tools that trainers use everywhere, including, some say, the very Pokeballs themselves. Deep in its labs, strange and secret things are researched. It is a place of invention and industry, humming with quiet work at the very center of the region. Here is the hidden truth of the great cities. Kanto is not only wild birds and quiet towns. It has grown great cities too, places of comfort and commerce and the power of the mind. In Celadon, a trainer learns the ease of the city. In Saffron, they meet the strange power of the psychic and the great engines of industry. The region has a mind as well as a heart, It thinks and builds and invents. At its center, even as its edges stay wild. That is the balance of Kanto. Wild birds at the edges, great thinking cities at the center. And a young trainer, passing through, touches both and is shaped by both, and carries a little of each away with them, the hidden truth of Cinnabar Island. Far to the south of Kanto, out in the sea, there is an island of fire. It is called Cinnabar Island, and it holds, perhaps, the deepest and strangest secret in the whole region. Cinnabar is a volcanic island. Its heart is a volcano, and the ground runs hot beneath it. Its gym is a fire gym, and its whole nature is bound up with heat and flame. But Cinnabar is a place of science too, for on the island there is a laboratory where researchers study the deep past. And in that lab, they do a wondrous thing. They bring ancient Pokémon back to life. Long ago, certain Pokémon lived and died and were turned to stone over uncounted ages, becoming fossils. On Cinnabar Island, the researchers found a way to revive them. From a fossil shaped like a spiral shell, they bring back Omanite, a small ancient sea creature that has not swum the seas for millions of years. From a fossil shaped like a dome, they bring back Kabuto, an armored creature of the ancient shallows. And from a piece of old amber, holding the trace of something long gone, they bring back Aerodactyl, a great winged predator of the ancient skies. Creatures dead for ages, walking and swimming and flying again, revived by the science of Cinnabar. It is a wonder, and a strange one. The deep past, brought back to breathe. But there is a darker and sadder story on Cinnabar too. For on the island there once stood a great mansion. It is abandoned now, burned and ruined, its halls empty, its floors collapsing. And in that ruined mansion, long ago, a terrible and secret work was done. It was here, the old records say, that the most powerful Pokémon in the world was made. We spoke of Mewtwo before, sleeping in its sealed cave near Cerulean. This is where its story began. In the labs of Cinnabar, researchers took the genes of a rare and gentle Pokémon called Mew, the ancestor of all Pokémon, and from those genes they tried to create something new, something stronger, a made creature, built by human hands, from the blood of the first one, and they succeeded, in a way. They made Mewtwo, but the thing they made was mightier and more sorrowful than they had reckoned. And in the ruined mansion, in old scattered journals, the whole sad story is written down, fragment by fragment, for anyone who dares to read it. The birth of the made one, the pride of its makers, and the ruin that followed. Here is the hidden truth of Cinnabar Island. It is a place where people reach deep into things they did not fully understand, into the far past, to raise the ancient dead, and into the very stuff of life, to make a creature of their own. Some of it was wonder, some of it was pride. The revived fossils swim and fly again, a marvel. But the made one, Mewtwo, born in the burned mansion, is a heavier tale, a reminder that not everything that can be made should be. Cinnabar is the island where Kanto touched powers almost too great for it, and the ruin of the mansion still stands, quiet and burned, holding the memory of the day people made a life and could not control what they had made. The hidden truth of the Safari Zone. In the south of Kanto, near the town of Pewter City, there is a special and gentle place. It is called the Safari Zone, and it is unlike anywhere else in the region. The Safari Zone is a great fenced wilderness, a protected land set aside for rare Pokémon to live in peace. Inside it, creatures roam that are found almost nowhere else in Kanto, and there are gentle rules there, different from the rest of the region. A trainer who enters the Safari Zone cannot battle the Pokémon in the usual way. They cannot send out their own Pokémon to fight. Instead, they must move quietly and approach carefully and offer food and try gently to earn the trust of the wild creatures, hoping one will choose to come along. It is a place of care, not conflict, a sanctuary. Wardens watch over the Safari Zone. They protect its creatures and keep its peace, and make sure the rare Pokémon within are safe. There is an old tale of a warden who lost something precious, a set of golden teeth, and of the quiet kindness it took to help him. The whole place has that feeling, a feeling of careful protection, of a wild place kept safe on purpose, of creatures allowed to simply live. Here is the gentle truth of the Safari Zone. Kanto, for all its trainers and battles and busy towns, made room for a place of peace. Someone, long ago, looked at the rare and vanishing Pokémon of the region and decided they must be protected. So they set aside this land and fenced it and made gentle rules and appointed wardens to guard it. It is a place built on care, on the belief that some creatures should simply be allowed to live, wild and safe, without being fought or forced. That is a kind and hopeful truth to find in the first region. That even in a land built around battle, room was made for gentleness. Somewhere in the south of Kanto, behind a quiet fence, rare creatures roam in peace, watched over by kind wardens, safe. It is good to know such places exist. The hidden truth of Mew, the first one. We have spoken of Mewtwo, the made one, born in the burned mansion of Cinnabar. But Mewtwo was made from something, from someone, from the genes of a rare and gentle Pokémon called Mew. And Mew is, perhaps, the deepest hidden truth of all Kanto and of the whole world. Mew is a small, pink, gentle creature. It drifts through deep jungles and hidden places, shy and playful, rarely ever seen. For a long time, people believed it did not exist at all. It was thought to be only a legend, a myth, a story with no truth behind it. But it is real, and the old records say something astonishing about it. They say that Mew holds within its small body the beginnings of every kind of Pokémon there is, that within Mew are the genes of all of them, that every Pokémon in the whole world, in some deep way, traces back to this one small, gentle creature. They call Mew the ancestor, the first one, the single life from which all the others flow. If this is true, and the old records say it is, then this shy pink creature, drifting quietly through the deep jungle, is the mother and father of every Pokémon that has ever lived, the most important creature in the world. And almost no one has ever seen it. Here is the hidden truth of Mew. The beginning of everything is small, and gentle, and hidden. The ancestor of all Pokémon is not a mighty and terrible beast. It is a shy little creature that likes to play, and hides from anyone who comes near, and drifts quietly through the green heart of the world. All the power and variety and wonder of every Pokémon that ever lived flows from this one small, gentle thing. There is something deeply comforting in that the root of everything is not fearsome but kind, not vast but small, not loud but quiet. Somewhere in a deep green jungle tonight, the ancestor of all Pokémon is curled up, small and pink and safe, playing by itself or sleeping. The beginning of everything, resting quietly, hidden from the world. That is, perhaps, the most beautiful secret in all of Kanto, the hidden truth of Victory Road and the summit. At the far northern edge of Kanto, past the last town, there rises the hardest path in the whole region. It is called Victory Road, and it is the final trial, the last climb, before the very top. Victory Road is a great cavern that winds up through the mountains. It is dark and steep, and full of powerful wild Pokémon, and great boulders that must be moved to find the way. Only the strongest and most determined trainers can pass through it. It is the last test of the whole long journey, the final wilderness before the summit. Many trainers, having come so far, meet their hardest challenge here, in the dark of the mountain, so close to the end. And beyond Victory Road, at the very top, lies the Indigo Plateau. It is the highest place in Kanto, the summit of the whole region, where the greatest trainers in the land are gathered. There wait the Elite Four masters of their craft, each stronger than the last. And beyond even them waits the champion, the single strongest trainer in all of Kanto. To reach the Indigo Plateau, and to face them and to win, is the goal of the whole long journey that began, so far away and so long ago, in tiny Pallet Town by the sea. Here is the truth of Victory Road and the summit. Every journey has an ending, and the ending is a height. The trainer who began as a child in a small, quiet town, unsure and untested, climbs at last through the final dark, and comes out at the top of the whole region, and faces the very best there is. It is a long, long way from Pallet Town to the Indigo Plateau, from the first small chosen partner to the summit of the region. And the whole journey, all of it, every town and forest and cave we have wandered through tonight, lies between those 2 points. The beginning and the height, the small quiet start, and the great high finish. That is the shape of a Kanto journey. It begins in the smallest place, and it ends at the top of the world, and so we come to the deepest hidden truth of all. The truth of Kanto itself. We have wandered the whole region tonight. We began in tiny Pallet Town, and the gift of the first partner. We walked the green dark of Viridian Forest. We saw the old stone bones in Pewter's museum, and the fallen sky in Maint Moon, and the moonlight dances of the Clefairy. We passed the sealed cave near Cerulean, where the Maid One sleeps. We stood on the docks of Vermilion, and watched the great ship sail toward the wide world. We glimpsed the 3 legendary birds at the wild edges, in the ice and the storm and the fire, and the abandoned power plant where lightning roosts. We stood, quietly, in the tender grief of Lavender Town, and learnt that love endures. We walked the great cities, Celadon's comfort, and Saffron's strange psychic power. We crossed the sea to Cinnabar, the island of fire and fossils, and the burned mansion where the Maid One was born. We found the peaceful sanctuary of the Safari Zone. We touched the deepest secret, Mew, the small, gentle ancestor of everything. And we climbed the final dark of Victory Road to the summit of the whole region. And here is what all of it means, gently taken together. Kanto is not a simple place. It only looks simple. To the young trainer rushing through, it is a bright and friendly starter region, a place to pass quickly on the way to greater things. But beneath that bright surface, Kanto holds everything. It holds the deep past in its fossils and its ancient revived creatures. It holds the far future in its labs and its made ones and its towering industry. It holds wild, untamed power in its 3 great birds at the edges. It holds deep science and deep loss and deep love. It holds the ancestor of all life and the mightiest made creature in the world, both within its borders. It holds sanctuaries of peace and towers of grief. It holds, in short, the whole of everything, folded quietly into a small first region that most people pass through without looking twice. That is the hidden truth of Kanto. The first place is not the simple place. The beginning holds everything. The land where every journey starts is not shallow or empty or plain. It is as deep as anywhere in the whole world. It only wears its depth quietly, beneath a gentle green surface, waiting for anyone who cares to look closely. Most never do. They are young and eager and hurrying on, but the depth is there all the same. It was always there, and perhaps there is a gentle lesson in that, to carry down into sleep. The places we think we know best, the familiar places, the ones we pass through without a second glance, are often the deepest of all. Home is like that. The first things are like that. The quiet, ordinary places we take for granted hold more than we ever notice. Kanto is the proof. The little starter region, the one everyone thinks they know, turns out to hold ancient bones and fallen stars and lonely birds and made creatures and the ancestor of all life and love that outlasts death. It held all of that, all along, while the trainers hurried through. It was never simple. Nothing truly is, so let us rest now, and let the whole first region settle around us, one last soft time, before we let it go. Somewhere in Kanto tonight, a small quiet town sits by the sea, and in its little lab, 3 rare starters wait for the next young trainer to begin. Somewhere the green dark of Viridian Forest is full of sleeping Caterpie, and Weedle and Pidgey, and 1 rare Pikachu curled among the roots. Somewhere the old stone bones rest quietly in the Pewter Museum, keeping the memory of the ancient dead. Somewhere deep in Maint Moon, if the moon is full, small pink Clefairy are dancing around a piece of fallen sky. Somewhere north of a bright and peaceful city, in a sealed and quiet cave, the Maid One, Mewtwo, sleeps alone in the dark. Somewhere the great ship rests in Vermilion Harbour, or sails the wide sea beyond it. Somewhere at the cold edge of the region, Articuno waits in the frozen sea caves. Somewhere in the abandoned power plant, among the silent machines, Zapdos roosts in the dust. Somewhere in the fiery mountains, Moltres trails its flame across a distant sky. Somewhere in Lavender Town, the Pokémon Tower stands quiet in the dark, full of remembered love, watched over by a kind old man who never lets the departed be forgotten. Somewhere a small Cubone looks up at the moon and thinks of its mother, and is not, tonight, alone. Somewhere the great cities glow, Celadon's gardens and Saffron's towers, humming softly through the night. Somewhere on the island of fire, the revived ancient creatures sleep, and the burned mansion stands silent, holding its heavy memory. Somewhere behind a quiet fence in the south, rare Pokémon roam in peace in the Safari Zone, safe and free. And somewhere, in the green heart of the deep jungle, small and pink and gentle, the ancestor of everything, Mew, is curled up asleep, dreaming whatever the first one dreams. The beginning of all life, resting quietly, hidden and safe, while the whole world it began goes on turning in the dark. That is Kanto tonight. All of it there, all at once, holding its quiet depths beneath the gentle surface, while the region sleeps. You do not need to hold any of it. Let the towns and the caves and the creatures blur softly together now, into one warm feeling, and let them go. The first region will keep its secrets safely through the night. The starters will wait in the lab. The birds will keep their lonely posts. The Maid One will sleep in its cave. The ancestor will rest in the jungle, and love will go on enduring in the quiet tower, as it always does. You can rest now too. There is nothing left to remember, and nothing left to do. The first region is old, and deep, and safe, and it is sleeping, just as you are about to sleep. So let go of the last of it, gently, like a young trainer setting down a heavy bag at the end of a long day's walk, and drift off into the quiet, under the same soft moon that shines on Pallet Town, and on Lavender Town, and on the deep green jungle where the ancestor of everything lies dreaming. Rest now. Sleep well. If some hidden truth of the first region stayed with you tonight, you might leave a word about it whenever you wake, and tell me which quiet corner of Kanto you carried down into sleep. I read them all, gently, but that is for the morning. For now, there is nothing to do but rest. The first region is sleeping, and its secrets are safe, and so are you. We will uncover the quiet truths of another old region together, gently, the next time the night grows still.